So you are here, you have arrived to your course, and I promised you that we would give you content and information that will help you to navigate the seas of being an entrepreneur from a practical standpoint, but also from the mindset standpoint. Like, what is the mentality that it takes to pivot from working for a company that has all these systems and processes and people that can support you in all these different ways to where now it's all on you. You're wearing all the hats, you're making all the calls and pulling all the shots. So Jennifer Loehding is a fabulous, fabulous entrepreneur here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, somebody that I highly respect. She's got podcasts, she runs businesses, and she's been doing this for a while. So she's a seasoned veteran. How you doing, Jennifer?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me here.
No, I appreciate you and definitely appreciate you pouring back into entrepreneurs in our community. And so, as promised, I just want to ask you a few questions. This probably won't take more than 10 minutes just to give some value to the entrepreneurs in our community here. So starting with the first question, basically just want to know, can you share your best advice to a new entrepreneur?
Now, this is such a good question. I love this. And I actually had to really think about this, Victor, because I've been in this space for quite some time. And I'm like, what did I need when I first started out as an entrepreneur? And, I was incredibly blessed that I had mentors. And, I really didn't understand the impact of that until I moved out of that space and had to go and actually start finding mentors because they were always kind of accessible to me. So I think, as a new entrepreneur, one of the best things that I could say to someone is to find yourself a mentor or a place where you can connect and be in some kind of community to learn.
Wow, powerful. No, that is spot on. And, a lot of times, especially as entrepreneurs, we're penny pinching, we're watching the dollars, and we sometimes don't see the value in that. But you have to invest in yourself. It's just the only way that this thing works. So I'm glad you said that. Thank you for sharing. So question number 2, what are some ways an entrepreneur can overcome those low confidence moments, that as they're building their business?
Yeah, no, this is another good question. I love all your questions, actually. This one's a really good one. So again, I had to think about what did I have to do in the early days to really help myself stay in that zone? And one of the things that I've always, even to this day that I still do, is I track my work. I track what I'm doing. And the reason that I do that, and as simple and corny as this may sound, I do a to-do list every single day. And it's not really because I need to remember to do things like walk my dogs or exercise, because those are things I just do. But the reason that I do it is because in doing that, it shows the work that I'm doing every single day. And so I have done this in both my personal and my business life. And what I mean by in my business is in the early days when I was selling, I was in a network marketing space. So I was having to do sales. And it's easy for us to get hung up on the ROI, right? Get hung up on what are we making at the end of the day? And if we're not showing anything, what happens? We lose faith, right? And so for me, I'm an activity girl. And so I used to always tell my people, focus on the activity, focus on the work, because the results will come when you do the work. And the best way to do that is to track. And so I would actually go in and I would track, how many people am I talking to? How many of these people are actually booking? How many of these people are holding? And what am I selling from these appointments? And this would give me the ability to look at my pattern of work over a period of time versus going, okay, well, yesterday, all of my appointments just fell off the table and I'm in a bad mood, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at your tracking record over a period of time, then you can see numbers never lie. You do the work and the things pan out. So tracking, I think, is probably one of the best and single most important things I would tell somebody to do.
Man, that is so good. That is so good. Definitely, because it is easy to say, well, I had a 0 revenue day. Oh, I'm crap, right? But no, you did all this activity. I hear Jim Rohn and these guys talk a lot about planting the seed today does not produce the flower tomorrow, right? So you just got to continue the activity, and eventually you feel better. You just start feeling better about yourself. So thank you for sharing that. So while you're sharing, tell us a story about how you had to overcome a mental block during your early entrepreneurial journey.
Oh my gosh, this is so hard. I was trying to think of different things. I feel like I've had so many mental blocks, as I'm working on a program myself right now. And it's funny because I'm doing limiting beliefs right now. That's the section that I'm on at this very moment. And I'm going through and thinking about all of these stories. But one of the ones that really comes to mind for me is money, the money conversation. I may have shared this with you because, when I was growing up, I lived in an entrepreneur household where, and I think most of us kind of heard this, money doesn't grow on trees. And I always joke and laugh and say we were sort of a feast or family and mindset in our house. Like we either had money or we didn't. And so
Right.
you earn great skills in that, right? Well, you learn to become a survivor. But the downfall of that is that I had a lot of blocks around money. Like I really had a lot of stuff that I was suffering with that. And it showed up very differently between my personal life and my business life. And so in my personal life, I was frivolous. I'd spend money and I'd be like, I don't need to worry about it. I'm just going to go buy it because it makes me feel good and I want it. Right.
Yeah.
And in my business, I was actually risk averse. I was the opposite. So talking about finding those mentors and stuff, I was that person. I don't have the money to do that. Like I'm not going to spend the money on that kind of stuff. And so I really had to get in, and I don't want to say this was like a overnight epiphany. I woke up one day and recognized this. No, I had a pattern of behaviors and I started recognizing there was some congruency in this and things that were showing up. And so I really went into a deep dive and started doing work. And so I think it comes back to, when we're finding these mentors, yes, there's a lot of that in place, but also really when you're trying to overcome these mental blocks, doing research, really digging in and getting honest with yourself and recognizing what is it that's holding us back? Because a lot of times it's little things like we'll say, I'm not good at sales or I'm not good at talking to people. No, these are blocks. This is blockages. And we need to get to the core of those and really learn to get around those. So doing research and really honing in on working on yourself, I think is important.
That's awesome, Jennifer. I appreciate that. So tell the world how you help people and where they can find you.
Oh, that's what I do right there. Those limiting beliefs. I love tackling limiting beliefs. I'm such a, everything I do is from a holistic standpoint. And I always feel like, you can't put band-aids on things, and business is no bit different. It's like our health. You can't put a band-aid on it. I think to really be successful, you have to really get a grip on these things that are holding you back. And when you can really master that, I think it gives you the freedom to do the things that you want to do and have the success that you want. So I hope people really hone in on that and figure out how to get around it.
Well, give us your website or somewhere where they can
Yeah.
connect with you.
Absolutely. Well, if you go to my jenniferloehding.com, I'm sure you'll put some notes in there so they know how to spell my last
I
name. But
will. Yeah.
main page, jenniferloehding.com, everything's connected there. You can find the podcast and pretty much everything you want to know about me is on there.
Awesome. Jennifer, thank you so much for contributing to this community and sharing, because we're all in the same game, right? We're entrepreneurs. We're all dealing with some of the same struggles, just on a different level or in a different market. But I appreciate you giving back. And hey, I look forward to connecting with you soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, Victor. It was fun.
Thanks, Jennifer.